If you're gonna do it right.
If you're going to do it right.
That didn't work.
If you're going to do it right. If you're going to do it right.
If you're gonna do it right. That's what I said. I said, if you're gonna do it right. How you going?
Good. How are you?
You've had a good weekend, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been a month.
Yeah.
Right.
So Simon's done a weekend search and rescue course, and he told, we were on the phone last night yakking like us men do. People say women talk a lot. You're not shocking, mate. But anyway, I think it's quite it's funny, talk like an old woman.
Yeah.
Two young men, well, not young, but you're young. We just, but it was a really interesting course. And one thing Simon was telling me was about tracking people in pine needles. Give us a rundown on tracking people with pine needles, just the short version.
So when people go through pine needles, everything goes down and pretty much bounces back up. So you don't actually see a lot of sign on the surface.
Yeah.
But if you put your hand on top of the pine needles and actually push into it, you can feel the prints underneath it.
The prints. So he was walking around in the middle of the night, like in the forestry, because they had to track this person feeling the ground.
Yeah, feeling for prints. And then if you actually move the pine needles, there's a fine print underneath.
Amazing, eh? Yeah. I bet you learned a whole lot of stuff, new stuff, eh?
Yeah, I learned a lot.
A lot, yeah. He's the sort of guy that'll rescue you when you get lost, guaranteed. He's the sort of bloke you want there too if you injure yourself. So Arb's going to remove this wall now, and he's just starting the door, and he's using his little knife, which is like a little fishing knife, isn't it?
Oh, it's a Barco knife, and as one of your subscribers once mentioned, it looks a bit like a Mora knife. And just about every Swedish tradesman would have one of these sitting in his little plastic scabbard.
Yep.
On his tool belt, and using them for many different things, from sharpening pencils, and they're actually really sharp. When you get them, they're really sharp. You can shave with them, and I use it as a bit of a blunt instrument, so I'm knocking the paint out of the screw heads, the slot head screws.
Oh, yep.
For these, so that I can get the screwdriver in, and because of the sharp tip, it just does it with a little tap, and you wouldn't really want to do that with a knife that was a knife that you'd want to use really like a knife, but these tools are just so versatile.
Yeah.
You can just use them for so many different things, and when you sharpen it up, I've got a slow rotating whetstone, which is a big slow grinder, and so I can sharpen it without heating it so it doesn't lose its edge,
Right.
So I do that with my chisels as well, and then I can just freehand sharpen another edge on this when I need to. So I kind of use them, I end up actually using the same knife for about 2 or 3 years.
Amazing,
isn't
isn't
it?
it?
Get 2 or 3 years out.
Is it do okay for getting the paint out of the screws?
Absolutely, you have a look there, it just knocks the fractures of paint out of the screws, so I can get my screwdriver in there and then unscrew them.
Yeah, right.
There's always a risk. These will be brass screws, I'm guessing. So they've got a soft head.
Yep.
So I'm only going to get one go at trying to get it out.
Yeah, righto.
And then otherwise the head's going to break off. But because it's easier for me without causing damage to the door to actually try and unscrew these. So I'll give it a shot.
Bloody good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I've managed to get all the screws out.
Righto.
Surprisingly enough, the right size screwdriver is the important thing. And I'll leave one at the top, the very last one.
Right. I'm just going to hold it here in case it comes down.
Which it will.
I see you're balancing with your foot below there too.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Oh, nice.
There we go. There we go. There we go.
There you go. You got it?
Yep.
Okay, mate.
There we go. Sweet.
It wasn't too difficult. Didn't take you too long at all.
No, you can get lucky. They weren't brass screws.
Yeah.
They were just mild steel screws, and the bottom ones were quite rusty.
Right.
So, as you can see.
Good going. I'll give you a hand we'll put that beside the house, bud.
Yeah.
Yep. Do you want a hand with that?
Yep.
Yep. I'll give you a hand.
Yeah.
Geez, they come out pretty quick with that bar, don't they, bro?
Yep. So that's what's holding the door frame in, as you can see the way it moves.
Oh, yeah.
Again, it was only the facing that was holding the door frame in.
Holy shit.
Now I know one of your subscribers mentioned that was the way they did it, but it wasn't the way they did it for the last 40 years, because in the 38 years I've been involved, there was no way we ever used a facing to hold this in. We always nailed it through the side of a door frame.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, it's quite interesting. This one's got a proper head flash, you can see.
You can see that, yeah.
It's gone up underneath the other board.
Wow.
nice and neatly. And it's just like so easy.
I know. What's holding it on? It's that ball.
No, look. It's like
It looks like it's going to just fall out there over those facings, hey?
that's right.
What's that?
It's using the architrave to hold the door.
Just sitting there, Arbs. It's not even nailed into the sides at all.
No. That's right.
That's the front door, mate. That's crazy, hey? Done. Look at this.
Oh, don't build them like that anymore, mate.
Thank God for that.
Like the good old days. That's how we did it back there.
There's nothing at all. There's not even a packer down the
not
side,
even a
mate.
packer or
Not
a
even a
nail
packer,
or
nothing.
No.
That is bizarre, bro.
Yep.
That is bizarre.
That's right.
So it's just that piece at the bottom there you got
Yeah, it's a
holding
bit of
it.
a sill.
Jeez. It's a hard case, mate. Oh, it's good that floor's not asbestos. Walk around there safely, you know.
Yeah.
Can't believe it, my front porch is just like built so badly. Look at that. Holy shit. Oh, well, we might use that for part of my glass house. It could be used for as a frame or something.
Oh, look at that.
It's gone out, man. Too easy.
There was a couple of nails there.
Geez, they were splashing out, weren't they? A couple of
Yeah.
nails.
Yep. Oh, they put another couple in there too, just to make sure. Yep. No expense spared on that job.
Didn't take you long.
No.
That'll be all Remu, won't it? Untreated Remu.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yep.
I would think so. Yes, it's 24 mil, so it's old school. It's not 19 mil.
Yeah, right.
Bit of red lead on it again, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Nailed into the side of the sill.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Started beside the other one there where he's just repaired the corner.
Oh,
In
yep.
the old days when there was a bit of rot there and that, where we saw that whole bit there that was all buggered.
Yeah, right. That's what they did.
Not finding any big nests of anything, or you know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
quite good in a way.
Your battery's charged up.
Yep.
You hear that? Tells Arb his battery's charged.
We're going to get something useful out of that one. I'll pull those nails through and I'll save this piece. Get this out so that I can free these weatherboards up under here.
Yeah, mate.
It's probably holding this window in, truth be known, but it doesn't matter.
Would surprise me.
The other three sides.
Shit. Oh, she's coming out that window anyway.
I like it sometimes when you're undoing jobs, pulling them apart, and you see little time capsules where people have written things and little comments. I used to, whenever I'd do a renovation in Cairns, I'd always write little things there. I'd do the date, 2015 or whatever. One of my fun little ones was New Zealand, building a better Australia.
Ooh. So Arb's taking this from the inside
Taking it
to
from
save it?
Yeah, I'm taking it from the back so I don't damage the little rebate.
Yep.
Little rebate's narrow, and if you hook your bar underneath it, it just splits off. So
Right.
I'm going to tap it out from the back, and then with an intent to save these. There's about 3 full-length boards there that we can use elsewhere in the house. I know we can get certain mouldings and certain sort of similar weatherboards nowadays, but this one with this little wee turn in it,
Yeah.
I have never seen in my local suppliers
Right.
with a rebate. with that little, so it's subtle, but what happens is when you look at it with the paint on it, you can see it. You can see that curve right about here, where you can see it when you look at it, you know. It comes out on an angle and then it goes flat.
Yeah, right.
And because of that bit there that creates this different shape, where we have a wall and we're going to replace a couple of rotten weatherboards in that wall, I'm not going to find one that's going to fit, you know.
Yeah, so we need to look after these ones, yeah.
Yeah, we can. It's a good idea, you know. I can get stuff. Southern Pine Products have a book, a catalogue basically of so many obscure ones, so I can get that sort of stuff too if I need to. And then we look at the logistics of then getting 100 metres or so, you know, so we got every bit covered that we're going to have to replace. But also here, I mean, we're going to get 3 good full lengths out of there, and we're going to get some good part lengths as well. So when they're put into a wall with a mitre and done properly, then you can join a small one in if you have to, you know. They often rot near the corner, like I said previously, where the mitre was. So
yeah, right.
You know, these ones aren't because they had a box corner around here.
Oh, yep.
You know. There's a crack at the end.
Yep, see that. Need to get under that nail at the end. Yeah.
Because they nailed it on the top.
Yeah, no, we lost that bit. That's all right. I'll take it, bud.
Put it on the pile with the others. Nail side down.
Yep.
These are called tools, but you've got to be a little bit careful with them because the blade hits something, bounces back, and then it gets all bent. You can straighten them up, but they can be a bit of a handful when they get carried away. So it's always worthy. You see me, I levered it out, then I levered it back in, and when I did that, that created a gap for the blade to go through, and then it was just a quick, painless little cut. But if I hadn't levered it out and then back in again, there'd be no gap, and I would have been fighting, trying to throw me off the ladder. So always think about where the blade's going to go.
There's my paddock there, out in the road, and over here they're building stuff, and right here's some roadkill. We'll wait for the car. The thing about picking up roadkill is you've got to keep your eye on the traffic, otherwise you end up becoming roadkill yourself. Good dog, Tucker. It's another one of those beautiful days in Tasman where you're just happy to be alive. Here in Tasman, it's a place where the weather, the sunlight hours we get are just incredible in winter. And I love it. I just love being around here in winter. It's not that cold this year. It's like a lot warmer than you expect. The season's all out of whack actually. There's daisies growing, and daisies shouldn't be pushing up for another sort of 6 to 8 weeks. So I don't know what's going on. Global warming maybe, climate change, it's all happening. It's definitely different to what it used to be, there's no denying that. So up at the house right now, I'll be working this morning, hopefully. I've got a feeling he's knocked out the end wall where my bedroom door used to open up, actually where the house, the front entrance, he's taken all that out, shifting around. And today I've got to clean everything out of the kitchen, which is a lot of work actually. But I'm also currently working on my next CD. I've just released my latest CD, which is called Blues Nights and Reggae Days, which has got 24 songs on it, and it'll be in the on Spotify and iTunes probably in the next 3 to 4 weeks. It takes a while for them to upload it. It's quite a slow process, and that's a long time coming. But I'm also doing a second CD right now, and Ray Hardcastle, artist, is working on the cover, and that CD is called, well, it's going to be called something like Shanties, Whiskey and Cheating Death, and it's a whole compilation of songs for sea shanties, songs about drinking and cheating death pretty much. Well, I'm not sure there's actually a song in there about cheating death as such, but that's the theme, is, you know, living in a way, doing things you normally wouldn't get away with and still being here, which has been a big part of my life. I always love returning to the old farmhouse. Always gives me a nice feeling inside to have a bit of dirt that I own, and this is my first real home as such. That is completely just that, the home. Morning, Arbid. How you going, bro? We're down there. Yeah, good, man. On the job. Another beautiful day.
Yeah.
Good to see you, mate. How are you? Good. All right.
Looked like a legend last night.
Me too.
Best sleep I've ever had in about 3 or 4 years.
Really?
It's really weird.
What do you reckon that's all about?
Don't know.
Yeah.
It was a full moon too. I should have
was
been a
full moon.
lunatic.
I know, yeah. Does that affect you guys, the old full moon? Anyway, I'm just going to show people where you're at today before we kick the day off. We'll have a walk around and talk about it.
Well, we're on the last bedroom wall.
Wow.
And it's not too bad, so I'm just sort of adding to it, shoring it up.
Yep.
Corner's a little bit dodgy, so I've removed the corner stud.
I see that, yeah.
Yeah, it's hanging on by a couple of skew nails and not enough blocks or anything like that. So
You would have had to remove all the weatherboard there too in the corner, yeah?
there wasn't none there. That was where the facing over the window was.
I got you right.
Yeah,
Yep,
so-
true.
So now I'm just going to fix that up as well. Probably chop that bit of bottom plate out and then get the stud down to the bearer.
I'll take this bottom plate out, yep.
Yeah, just where it goes in there. I'll cut it off there.
Yep.
And then I can we're using a wider stud, so it'll enable me to screw it to that other corner stud and get a bit of a connection. So I'll put a few screws in there and a few blocks, and it's got to be a strong point, you know.
Yep. You'll take that weatherboard off the side to get in there, the corner?
I'll cut that, and I'll cut down there as well, and that sill, so it all doesn't foul me when I'm putting my weatherboards on. And my wrap's going to want to hang around the corner about probably sort of 200 mil, so that I get a nice overlap on it.
Right.
So yeah, just carry on.
Okay, mate. Well, thank you for giving us an update, and I'll let you carry on to work.
Rotary ho.
Beauty. Wow, this room's going to be awesome. It's all coming together. I don't know how much you guys can see through there, but I've got power lines running through this tree right to the house. This is a pruning saw, and right to there. So I'm cutting beside a wire, and I'm going to cut the piece of wood on the other side, and for the reason there's a wire there and I've got a saw that's made out of metal, I'm cutting it away from the actual wire, so the pressure's going away from it. So for any reason if I slip, I'm pushing away from the wire, because we don't want to touch that wire. We like being on this planet. I don't want to be a crispy critter. Rightio, that's one cleared going through there. You can see where it's actually been rubbing against the wire. Well, you probably can't actually, but as the tree went back and forward, it's actually bent the wire slightly and putting a lot of strain. It's taken the pressure off it, but I'm also going to take this branch off. And it's a dangerous job because I'm using a steel saw. You just cannot touch this with the sharp end on any level. You pierce the insulation, then you're fried. So what I'm doing is I'm making sure I'm always cutting away from the wire, so if I even slip, I'm pulling away. In the case of this one here, I'll take the pressure off here, I'll cut on the far side and cut it above, and then I'll cut here, so I've got a lighter piece. But yeah, it's a really dodgy setup because there's all these wires going through the tree up there, and I'm just going to do one at a time and just be very careful. It's a neat tree. Kids used to play on this. It's a big tree, eh? It's massive. But I've got a lot of branches and stuff to clear those wires because they're under pressure through there. It's not good, not flash at all. Welcome to another episode of Smoko with Arbs. This morning's Smoko is one probiotic pill with some kefir. About 3 weeks ago, I ate the wrong berries and they stripped the lining off my stomach. And then I had a lot of emotional worry about a family member that was not well and someone else was not well. That combined, I went into like is it cilia? Your stomach, is that what it's called? The wee hairs that line your stomach?
Don't know, usually it's milk before you go out on a drinking spree, isn't it?
Yeah, we used to do that, yeah. I remember those days. Get the gut ready. Gentlemen, start your livers. But anyway, yeah, I'm drinking this and I'm tentatively holding the phone with my right hand because it's about 9 days ago now that this thumb here, it got bitten, and as you can see when I close, it tries to close but it can't. It's a tiny little bite, 2 little holes of bees' teeth, but there's a nerve in the knuckle here, and it's why it was so painful is it hit the nerve and it's just not healing fast enough, and I can't hold my knife, and holding my phone I'm only able to clamp that far, but if I try to squeeze something like that I can't do that with it. It won't grab, and you don't realise how much you use your thumb. One of the things that you use your thumb for is to wipe your bum, and I said this to my mate when I was in the truck, and it's true, you know, try doing it with your left hand when you've done it with your right your whole life.
I did that when I broke my right hand. I had to learn how to re-wipe my bum with my left hand.
Yeah. So us men should be good, because generally, you know, our right hand gets tired after a while and we step in with the left. I guess that's when we're teenagers, but as we get older that doesn't get the use anymore. We forgot how to use it.
Ambidextrous, yeah.
Yeah.
Go. I used to try and hammer with my left hand
Yep.
when I was an apprentice. It would have been good if I'd kept it up.
Yeah, absolutely, because you could share the load. My brother plays guitar with both hands, switches them around.
I always remember him as a left-hander, yeah.
Yeah, he does both. I'm going to switch this phone. I'm already getting sore. I've really got appreciation for power tools. I've been up the tree this morning with the pruning saw, Arbs pruning saw, doing the pruning around the power lines and that, which is a fucking dangerous job actually. I think it's probably a job I wouldn't recommend too many people would do unless you could come unstuck so easy, eh?
That's why Network Tasman likes to do it.
Right.
Generally, they don't want people doing it.
I can understand that.
Electrocuted.
You've got to make it so that if you're going to have a mistake, there's no, when I was sawing, I was making sure if I'm going to go the wrong way, there's no possible way I can touch that wire, even with the back of the saw. So even though it's insulated, you don't trust it, because if the teeth go into it, you're fried. So the whole time I was just tentatively going around it, and I've cleared most of it. But you really have an appreciation for power tools, eh, when using a hand tool for ages. I've got a fuck shoulder anyway. Arb and I, we both belong to the Fucked Up Club. We've got so many body parts now. We always said this, eh? We said as we get older, you know, we wanted to end up with, you know, like not much body left and use it through life. We've done a pretty good job of fucking up most body parts.
Yeah, I think so. We've worn a lot of stuff out and broken other bits.
Yeah, broken bits. Yep, scars. And so all you young guys that you know, you call us old farts and that, all I can say is, first of all, getting old is a luxury that doesn't happen to all.
You're right.
We've got mates that are no longer here. One of our good old surfing buddies, Grove, has departed from us. Also, our guitar mate, Glenn, died when we were teenagers. So just being here is a luxury. And secondly, hold on for the ride, suckers, because it's fucking hard going, eh?
If you get to the end and your body's in perfect condition,
You've done something wrong.
You just didn't use it properly.
No, you wasted your life, eh?
Yeah, what were you doing?
Yeah.
You know, you're not really meant to have. It's a bit like if you've had the car for 25 years, it shouldn't look like the day you bought it. Really, you've been anal retentive too long. You know, you got to relax and use it. So it's like if you had it for 25 years, it looks like it's been used for 25 years.
Yeah.
The difference with a car is you can just stick a new ball joint in or something like that.
Well, we can do that with us to a degree.
It's never 100% back though, you know.
No.
It's always, what happens is the fact that you've got to go for an operation basically means it's buggered.
Well, you've got spare parts. You've got a pig valve.
Yeah, I've got a pig valve. I've got titanium through me. I've got some good bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And I'm quite happy about it, you know. And thanks to the School for Dental Nurses in Christchurch when I was at primary school, I've got a large amount of amalgam in my head.
Yeah, they used to practice on us, eh? Yeah, the dental, they used to practice on us and fill us up. Yeah, fill us up with, It
was called preventative dentistry. So what they did was if they could find anything with the hook, they would assume that it would turn into a cavity. So they'd drill it all out and fill it beforehand, so you didn't have to worry about it later on.
Terrible.
And then if you're really lucky, which was actually a time before our time, and our parents' time, 21st birthday present, a nice set of plastic teeth. False teeth, take them out, get rid of that hassle, and good set of plastic ones.
Yeah, my father had that done. Dad got all his teeth taken out, the whole fucking lot, and he went pig hunting that afternoon. He was a hard man. He got them all taken out, eh? The whole lot.
My dad did too.
And he went pig hunting that afternoon. Get them out, they're all rotten anyway.
Yeah, you had to wait for the gums to.
Yeah.
So my father got the teeth too soon, so he used to be there with his knife whittling it to get it to fit, you know, because the gums would all shrink.
Right.
And so he'd be whittling away, and then get another set made about a year later when everything had shrunk out of it. I had a friend, there were two brothers, Bill, and I forget his brother's name, and we used to go surfing together, and I picked them up once. And his parents were a lot older than our parents, so they must have, his older brother had false teeth.
Right.
And he would have been 21.
Yeah.
So they must have adhered to that. sort of, you know,
Yeah.
21st birthday present.
Yeah, get him some new teeth. I'll tell you a funny story. Here's one. This is a hard story. My old man was a seaman. He was at sea. He was a marine engineer, and he was at sea. He used to work on the scows, and he'd gone out on this tour, and he had a really bad toothache when he left. And I think he had got in a fight. I think he had it broken, and the nerve was exposed. And every time he breathed, it hurt. And he just couldn't sleep at night, and he was in absolute agony. So he was an engineer. So he fashioned a tiny little corkscrew with the lathe inside the workshop down on the ship, and he made himself a tiny little corkscrew, and he tied himself up so the pain, if he passed out, he wouldn't fall over. He tied himself up in the engine room and placed a couple of mirrors, and he counted the amount of turns he'd have to do to get that nerve out, and he plunged that bloody steel corkscrew into that bare raw nerve, counted the turns, nearly passed out with the agony, and he knew that when he pulled it out, if it didn't come out, he'd be in worse off condition. So it had to come out, and he went right down as far as he could go and pulled that sucker right out. And you know what? The pain disappeared instantly.
Gave himself a root canal, basically.
He basically did, and when he went back to the dentist, talked to the dentist about it. The dentist said, "Well, it's similar to what we'd actually do ourselves back then, but you know, how hard are you got to be to do that?" Yeah, Dad's told that story many times, and it's always stayed the same. I believe it to be accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, toothache, you can have a clove. You know, like
Yep.
cloves are good against
Done
toothache.
that, yeah, for a while, yeah.
But it's just doesn't go away, does it?
You got to get rid of that nerve, bro.
Yeah.
So this wire that runs down here, I've cleared all the bush around that, and this one here, I've cut all the bush around this, and I'm now taking off the main part that was putting the pressure on, and I've taken all the bush above it so that when this bit breaks off, it's not going to jam up on anything. And as you can see, I'm cutting away from the wire all the time because it's fucking dangerous. I'm not exactly you know, in a safe position here. I'm standing on a branch, and so if I go to fall, the last thing I want to do is touch that bloody wire or have the saw touch it. And you really appreciate the old electric equipment and petrol equipment when you're doing something with your hand, like this, balancing on a branch. It adds a bit of challenge to it, but also appreciation to power tools, because it takes a while to get through. We're just about there now. There, baby. Well, the arm's going to drop off. Well, this is going to drop off. Beauty. Nice. That's clear. We'll just get this bit off here, just very tentatively. Away from the line. You can fuck off too, mate. Oh, there you go. Done. I'm going to clear this next one here, and then those down there that are around the power line. Arbs making all the twangs, the wall.
All labels for the top and the bottom.
Oh, yep.
They say when you're measuring dwangs, you should really make them a 1/2 mil shorter, because if you have to bang them in too tight as you go along, you push the studs out. It's a cumulative error. So often you can't cut the last cavity, you wait, but the idea is I measure it with my laser measure, and that actually seems to be about 1/2 mil short. So if I cut it dead on the mark, they usually fit in snug enough, you know. That's like I don't have to really bash them in. If you've got to bash a dwang in, it's probably too long.
Yeah.
Put it on a saw and shave it. It's the best way to do it.
Good tip. Fox just rolled in off the sea.
I can hear a foghorn.
And hark, I can hear a whale. No, it's a dolphin, sorry. Can you hear the dolphin?
Yeah, well,
It's not a dolphin. What's a dolphin do? It does
Hang on
got
a minute.
squeaky sound.
You know how you can tell if it's a dolphin?
How's that, mate?
Well, it's quite simple. If it's a dolphin, it's probably going to balance something on its head, you see.
That's a seal. But, hey,
Oh, well, dolphins do it too.
oh, Arbs, skills, bro. Like skills. Oh, let's see that again. Come on, one more time.
Hang on, I need to have a clear space.
You need a clear space. Yeah.
You can put it on your nose, but this is too heavy.
Holy shit. The man's got skills. That was cool, bro.
That's how you can tell if there's a dolphin close by. I know it's a seal, but they're the same.
Ah, they're all the same. Yeah.
All the bloody same. They all taste the same. Humidity in the you feel that it's coming in. It's almost
Yeah, Fox.
nice.
It's coming all right, bro.
Oh, I didn't cut number one.
Really?
Yeah, that's right. Because what I do is I cut to do with my offcuts.
Right.
So if the number one's the smallest one, I had an offcut that was 2 mils longer.
Yeah, right.
And then out of the other one, I got 2 pieces out of it.
Yep.
With the saw cut was 3 mils, and I got 2 pieces because it's efficiency.
Yeah.
So I didn't cut number one. I got one number one, but not number two. And there it was, staring at me.
Yeah.
It hadn't been crossed off.
Okay.
Right, that's it. I'm just had enough after that.
Alright, bro, I'll leave you with that job and I'll carry on with the trees.
Rotary hoe.
And then when I've done the trees, I'm going to open this box to see what's inside it. I planted a whole bunch of yams in there last night. Do you like yams, anybody?
That's how it should fit. It's like an interference fit. I don't have to bash it in. Just have to tap it in. This one's a funny one.
Yep.
So that's how I've got to find its position.
Ah, yeah, right. Gotcha. Yep. 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 Okay.
That one I'll put 3 in it.
Yep.
Because it's into remu. It's not fine.
Yep. So you pop back out there.
When you're nailing like that, you've got to be careful. Sometimes a nail shoots through and sticks up the side if the angle's too steep.
Yep.
If you hold your hand there, you end up getting nailed to the dwang.
Has it happened?
I haven't, not to me, but people have done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so you've got to anticipate. 90 mils of metal can go almost any direction. Just make sure your hand's 100 mils away at minimum, and it shouldn't be connecting with you.
Yeah, right.
It's too bit painful. You have to go and get another tetanus shot. You know? Although they say they last for 20 years now, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They used to be 10. How are we looking there? Oh, she looks pretty damn good, Arbs. Pretty good, bro. You work fast and you work accurate.
Yeah, dwangs, you can bash them around with your hammer.
Yeah.
You know, if you find it's out a little bit, you can bash it around with a hammer.
Yeah, right.
The job of the dwang is to give some rigidity to the studs.
Right.
We don't attach anything to it.
Yeah.
We put our jib on this way. This gives it rigidity, is what it does.
Yeah, right.
Keeps it in line.
going in pretty nicely, eh?
Yeah, that's the beauty of the laser measurer. It's actually better than the tape. The tape, it's just, depends on your eye, you know what I mean? And also when you're doing it at a tape, you're doing it at an outside edge and you're looking through there. Well, here's an example. So what I say, my tape sees this. Let's see if there's any discrepancy. My tape sees this as 391.
Yep.
And this sees it at 390.
Right.
So there you go. I would have had to bash that dwang in there.
Yep.
And that could be the difference because I measure it in the centre.
Mm.
So if we've got any little bit of twist in the timber,
Yeah, right.
the dwang kind of straightens that twist out of
Yeah,
it, you know.
yeah, true.
So it's it's tapes have an internal and an external measurement. That's this. There's 1 mil of play. Put it over the out of something, and you push it into something. But you know, look at that.
Yeah.
It's like that could be
A mil. Absolutely, yeah.
might be 1.5 mil.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
bit worn
Yeah.
or something, you know. So
And 1.5 mil matters a lot to a bloke,
Well,
eh? Arb?
it does. How long was it? Yeah. So it just means that the laser one it's right, bang.
Yeah,
You know, and it's
yeah.
got a memory which is better than mine too. It remembers the previous one that I measured, so I can go click, click, and
Yeah.
then get 2.
You could use it for building a boat too, eh? For measuring.
You could. You can use it for any measurements at all, internal or whatever. If I go into a job and I'm just sort of giving people a ballpark and they go, oh, you know, how much is it for the floor? And I'm kind of going, well, it's sort of like about $120 a square metre. I stand in one corner of the room.
Yep.
And then I go click.
Yep. And
And then I go, okay, so the room's 2.6 by 6.5, so that's 7.3, so 20 square meters, you know. So I go, okay, 20 squares, so there's $2,100 on flooring or something like that.
Right.
So I can just stand there and bang, bang. Well, you got to spin your tape out, and
Yeah.
there's a bed in the way, and
Yeah.
once you've had a laser measurer, it's just like you wouldn't bother anymore.
Yep. Bloody good. Thanks for the lesson.
Uh-huh. I can even see my breath.
Yeah. It's getting cold. You're right. Yeah. Temp's dropping, mate.
Have I taken up vaping?
Apparently they're finding out vaping's just as bad as smoking now.
Yeah, well,
Out of ammo?
the nails out there, mate. You'd say anything's putting anything in your lungs other than oxygen, eh?
Yeah.
Really? No, nothing's going to be good for it except for oxygen.
Yeah.
That's the bit that you need to live. So.
Jeez, man, you're so fast. Honestly. The better building I've done, Arbs, and I've done a few houses and things over the years, helping with things, but never did I put dwangs in that fast or cut them or measure them. Terrible,
Years
mate.
of practice, mate.
Yeah, yeah. That's what it is.
they did when you're an apprentice and you were working with a tradesman framing. You get the apprentice to do the dwangs.
Right. Is that what you used to do?
Yeah, that was part of it. You'd be right, dwang it, boy.
Yep.
You know, and then
Dwang it, boy.
dwang it, boy. Yeah. And then I'd say, you know, put your straight edge across it first and do any planing that you may have to do before you dwang it to get it straight.
Yep.
And then dwang it and has to be level. Centre has to be at 800 and 1600, so it has to be at 822 and 1622. So you can find the dwang later on if you want to put something in there.
Yep.
All that sort of stuff. And yeah, it's just doing time. And, you know, I mean, I guess this is a thing that may or may not be lost, but it's probably still there. You get an apprentice and you go, okay, so you write it down, you measure it, check that the studs are straight, write it all down in a list, cut it all. If you're not sure, leave the last one uncut and measure that at the very end. And then away you go. So it's
Very good.
yeah, one of the most basic of the skills is the dwanging or the noggining. And these ones here, I don't have to skew them. I can fire them up from underneath the other one.
Right.
You won't be able to get out of here soon.
Yeah.
See, that was a hard piece.
Yeah. You shouldn't go away home, eh?
No, and sometimes try and hit him and it bends. Like, it's not going to go on any further.
Yeah, it's fine
That's
though.
why I didn't go in the first time. That's why I put 2 in the top.
Yeah, right.
They call me lightning. I never strike the same place twice. That's the Apprentice joke.
What was it?
The Apprentice joke is like, oh, look at him, he's lightning. He's never striking. He's trying to hit the nail and he's going bang, 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 bang. One of the foremen I work with was banging the big nails. He said, the best way to hit it, boy, he said, is you just put your finger either side of the head like that. And he says, put your fingers there and then hit it. And I was like, oh, you make sure you don't miss the head of the nail then.
While Arb's doing that, I'll tell you a story. He's talking about apprentices. When my father was an apprentice, he was a fitter and turner at Anchor Doorman. And he had a cold chisel in one hand and an engineer's hammer in the other, and he was doing little taps, you know, tap, 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 tap. And the boss came along and says, don't be tapping like that, son. Make every hit count. Hold it like this. And he took the cold chisel off my dad and he got the engineer hammer and he went smack and he missed it. And he got the back of his hand and he took all the skin off right in front of my dad. And he went, oh, you get that sometime. And dad was going, oh, God, I feel pain. And then he gave back to my dad and dad carried on. Tap, 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 tap. The rats have chewed that hole in to get into the house. They've got up onto this here through the trees. So we're going to get rid of all these branches around here so they can't even climb up onto this, because they will find a way to get into the house. And I'm going to clean up the rest of these branches. You see this one's been rubbing against the power line, and take these away too, because the rats also climb out of here, jump onto the roof, go into the guttering underneath, bang, they're on the roof. That's where we're at now. So what I'm going to do now is with the chainsaw, I'm going to get the rest of the stuff, the big stuff, so it doesn't grow back. And we're all clear around the power lines. Good to go. That's a whole lot better. Yeah. Some stage we have to tackle that. That's not a job for me. It's somebody else with more professional skills. The main thing was taking the pressure off the lines. That's what I've done. And also cleared the bush away from the house so that the rats can't get up here. I've cut all this around here as well. So they probably could jump on from that branch there to there. But that's another job for another day, because there's quite a lot of work to take that out. We're going to rat proof this house. We're going to make it rat proof. I know people say it's impossible, but anything's possible.
Good. It's live.
Yeah, I said to you it was live.
Yeah. Just blew a circuit. Just blew a circuit.
You said it wasn't live, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought it was.
I told you, bro.
Yeah.
What'd you have for lunch, bro?
There was the rest of that smoked salmon and cheese sandwich. Bit of an orange. The other part of that gluten-free Scotch finger biscuit, which tasted good, I've got to say.
I had sorry to interrupt. I had bluefin tuna and it was really nice. Arb just said something really interesting. Suppressing emotions is worse than expressing emotions, and I'm all for that.
Well, you know, as we were talking about, anger is a classic one. I'd known in my life a couple of people who seem very, very calm on the outside,
Yeah.
And I'd look at them and think, God, I wish I was like that, because I just don't have that calmness. But these two people I'm thinking about, at different time, they both snapped.
Oh, yeah, right.
You know, and I saw something that was like, whoa. So that means he's sitting on it all the time. It's trying to bubble up. And then the times they snapped were really out of context. It wasn't actually anything to snap about.
So all the other things they didn't snap for, yeah,
it's just built up,
yeah.
you know. Which comes back to actually some things, like some drugs as well, will do the same thing. All of a sudden, you're feeling good. It's like, oh yeah, you know, I've had a quick shot of whiskey and a big 4-finger glass, and it's all good now again. Or I've had a joint or whatever, and sweet, no dramas. And yet the next day, at the same time, driving home from work, still fucking pissed off with the traffic flow or whatever. Same issues coming back again. You know?
Yeah, man.
I can get home and then suppress it with a bit of drug or whatever your drug is, and then it's all calm again. Oh, yeah, it's all sweet, no dramas, water off a duck's back. But it's really just sitting on, packing it in, like a volcano, smouldering away, waiting for the eruption.
Yeah.
Express, don't suppress.
Yeah. What's that noise?
That's me getting emails. That's how quick it happens now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you know, like I say express, don't suppress, and I get a whole heap of emails. Okay, so we've done the wrap, and then now we're back onto my story rod, which gives me the top of all these weatherboards. So what I did to find the location of this was leveled across and marked it from the top of the weatherboard, obviously simple. And then I just cross-referenced it in a few places. Basically, when you work out of the story rod, it's got to be right. That's all there is to it. So we're ready now to weatherboard this whole wall, taper it off up there, and then jib line on the inside.
Does that mean that the weatherboard, as it goes around the house, will all be at the same level?
Level, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's the way it needs to be.
All right. Bloody good. Ooh, beef rump steak. I bought that New World because sometimes wild game's not enough. I like fat. I've put a rub on it and some salt. I'm going to leave it outside just to absorb that before it goes in the pan. It's my dinner today.
I don't know if this is a cedar one, but our pencils, when we used to sharpen them at school, used to smell like that.
Yeah, right.
The reason I'm not pre-painting these ends is because all the ones where I've cut them, I've cut all the outside end on them, so I can paint the whole lot all at once.
Oh, yep.
Instead of taking the brush in and out.
Yeah, right. Makes life easy, eh?
Yeah. So I've got another one of those flashings in the corner. These plastic flashings could be internal or external.
Even when you're under a place like this where there's no
moisture?
moisture?
just do it for what it's worth, you know.
Yeah, right.
And the fact is, then any moisture, the rubber gasket stops it. So if it goes between the boards and blows in and a bit of a strong breeze or something, then it's just going to end out draining out the bottom.
Yeah, actually a little bit of water does occasionally sneak in there, but it's just
well, we rain from the north, eh?
We
so
do.
This is with the direction where it comes from. So if it gets a bit of strength,
yeah,
you'll be surprised. I mean, I'm going to have a piece of timber cupping this corner, and then I'm going to have a scriber down here.
Oh, yep.
So it's going to basically seal this off. And the scriber is going to have a little bit of sealant, latex type sealant, not silicon, it's a latex behind it where it fits into the weatherboards.
Right.
So really no water's going to get past, but
yeah,
that's just the way you do it. A little bit of plastic, which is worth probably about $8. Any water that does get past isn't going to see the framing.
Yeah, how's it all going so far? You happy with everything?
Yeah.
Any stuff up yet?
No, well, a straight wall like this, it's just all, get the first one on level.
Well, it wasn't straight, you made it straight.
Yeah, true.
You completely rebuilt the wall.
That's right.
Everything's actually bloody crooked here, so you're doing an awesome job.
Yeah, well, you just do our bits. I've got another one of those things.
Oh, okay, up here?
Yep. I turned the power off this time when I...
That was a good start, because yesterday we didn't, did we, Arbs?
No, well, it turned itself off when I connected the positive and negative together to see if it was alive. It was, so that was cool. So I've got my lines up there.
Yep, I can see
Centre
that.
of the stud. It's the centre of that bolt of the nail gun.
Oh, okay.
So what I'm doing is I'm lining it up.
Right.
Like that. Centre of the bolt. Centre of the line.
Beautiful.
That's how you draw them all the way up first. I get to a point about here, I'll have to grab my small level and just take them all the way up to the top.
Can you explain how you set the pressure right? Because you don't want your nails to go hard home, do you?
No, that's right. I don't want it to go home because it's quite a soft timber and it's a thin, and if I do, it'll punch itself too deep.
So how do you set that?
This is this thing here.
Okay.
That punches deeper and deeper as it goes.
Right.
So I'm actually running it as far out as I can.
Right.
And then I just nail the last hit home.
Okay.
That way I can get it I want it just to sit on the outside surface.
Yep.
I don't want it to bury itself in there.
Yep.
You know, because I want the timber to be able to move a bit between it.
Yep.
And it's been sitting out under plastic. We've had moisture. It's probably as moist as it's going to be in there.
Yeah, right.
I would be thinking, you know.
Yep, yep.
So it's like the deck as well, you know. You don't countersink things too far.
Yeah, right.
Because then the timber runs the risk of pulling over the head.
Yep.
And then if it pulls over the head, then next time it goes back, it actually comes off the stud when it dries the second time. Because the head's not doing the job of holding it from the outside. So, yeah. Funnily enough, if you were to nail on a normal weatherboard, you'd punch the head and fill it with putty.
Yeah, right.
So then you could set this and bang it straight down, you know, and then putty them all afterwards.
Bloody good.
And I also have screws that I put some weatherboards on with too, and
Yeah,
I
right.
drive the screw head below the surface. But it just depends on the weatherboard. They're a treated pine painted weatherboard. That's a bit different. This thing's going to move a little bit more because of the way it is.
Young Ross over here is one of my new patrons, but I've known Ross for a hell of a long time. And one of you guys on Patreon asked about getting a new knife. And the question that'll be on Ross's mind, which is on my mind, is what sort of knife are you after? Ross has made, how many knives? You've made literally hundreds of knives, haven't you, mate? Thousands. He used to make them and sell them at the market, and they're bloody good knives. And they're mostly, I think it's about all made out of recycled stuff. You don't use new materials, did you? Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to make you coffee. Is black all right?
Yeah.
Ross is leaving. Always good to see Ross. Where are you dogs going? Pace, get back in here. Bigsy. Bigsy, come. Bigsy, come. Bigsy. Where's that dog gone? What are you doing, eh? What do you think you're doing, mate? Hey, where are you going? Hey, Bigsy. Hey, Po. What you doing, Po? Hey? You good girl? Hey? What you doing, Po? Good girl. Not for you, Bruno. Where you go, Bruno? Where you go? Where you go? Hey, Ducky, come get it, mate.
So what we've got here is we've got a weatherboard that we've got to cut the taper off to suit the roof. So the easy way to do this is to just cut an offcut of weatherboard, square, and then where it basically slides up with a couple of mils difference, or distance from there, is where the complete weatherboard stops being complete. And then what I do is I'd measured from the top of the rebate up to there, and that was 57 mils. Cut another scrap and I put it up there, and I had a look there, and I've got my little bit of a mil there. So it's quite an easy measurement at this point. It's 57 mils I'll measure from the back to a complete one at, and that measurement was 605 mils from the end of the weatherboard to there. So then I've got those two measurements, and all I have to do is transfer it down onto the weatherboard and draw it. And this is something I've prepared earlier. Is that weatherboard. I already know the length of it because they're all the same length. So I've measured along to 605. I've measured my start point, 57, and that's the line that I cut. Now this is a bevel back weatherboard, so what happens is this bit is the bit that sits up against the stud. So what I do is I cut from this bit here so it's square to the stud. So I cut from the back, so that's easy, that will fit. That's it.
Right, that's a really logical way to do it.
Always using offcuts to find out what works where.
Thanks, Arb.
Fits.
Old mate's just arrived. I just filmed a little bit of him because some of you like to see his face on the channel and say he brings a good vibe, and I agree. Simon and my good old hunting buddy. Anyway, I want to show you guys something. Simon's just sorted the jib for Arb for tomorrow. Is that right, Arb?
Yeah.
Cool. That's exciting because once you get that on, we get the floor done, ceiling up, and the jib stopper and the fireplace in, and then I can have a room.
You can move in.
Cool. That's exciting. Welcome to another exciting episode of Smoko with Arb. Actually, I think it's lunchtime now, isn't it? Yeah. So this came from Phil Shand, who's a good mate of Arbs and mine from way back forever. Phil, Arb and me and a bunch of other boys used to surf, partake in the electric broccoli, music and other substances, and have a very good time in our youth. I'm not condoning it, but it's something I'm glad we went through.
Absolutely, we were great role models.
Great role models for who?
Well,
Hippies.
we didn't end up in the police station.
That's true.
No one got hurt.
Oh, that's not true, mate. Yeah, Glenn died.
Oh, Glenn died, yeah, but that was different.
That was alcohol.
That
was alcohol.
We didn't do what he did too. He did some different electric broccoli.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he took different drugs. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a bit...
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
Yeah.
Some of us, I think, for years later, might have suffered a little bit for it, and some of us may not have. I don't know.
I've been fine. I've been fine.
I know that I really loved that time of my life. It was really cool, and we had some mad adventures, eh?
Mm.
We used to go to Gore Bay and surf all the time. But anyway, this hat here is from Phil. Thank you, Phil. Do you tell us a little bit about his company, mate?
Yes, it's called Energy. What's it called?
Efficient, is it?
Yeah, Energy Efficient Products. So Phil imports stuff from overseas. He's an electrician by trade.
Oh, yeah?
But they do stuff like, they do heat pumps, they do underfloor heating, they do fans, they do anything electrical, and they look for energy efficient stuff is what they do. They do different things. So,
right.
Yeah, I'll be getting my floor heating for my bathrooms.
Okay.
Things like that.
Cool.
So he does the whole gambit. And he came last night with some of these beanies.
Yeah, and some steak as well.
Yeah, some steak and some beanies. Yeah.
Anything else?
Oh, a bit of beer.
Oh, yeah? Anything else?
There could have been.
Anyway, yeah, there's a bit of a plug for you, Phil, because you're an old mate, and Poe's really interested in it, aren't you, Poe? Yeah. So what it is it's a cap, but inside here, you probably see these little Mickey Mouse things outside, is these here, and they're headphones, and it's a Bluetooth beanie, so you can have your music going straight into this, be chilling out.
And you can do calls, I believe, as well, like a lot of Bluetooth devices do. So there must be a microphone inbuilt somewhere as well.
Yeah, well, that's cool. Hey, thanks, Phil. I don't know that I'll wear it during the day because it's actually getting really hot, but it'd be great at night.
Yeah.
And actually, I wonder if you could also use it for in the bush, like for communicating with you, link it up to your radios. You probably can't. You have to have Bluetooth on your radios, yeah.
Wouldn't you? Yeah.
But it'd be a handy thing to have because I'm all into hands-free because I'm always holding something. Like right now, I'm holding a telephone in one hand, in the other hand a pair of nail clippers because I need to cut nails. But I'm always holding something in the bush, and the more hands-free you can have, the better. Anyway, thanks, Phil. What's today's lunch, bro?
Here's an egg I laid this morning. It was a bit of a sweater to get that one out. It was quite large, but it was good. I got it done, and then it's been soft boiled.
Is that comparatively large to what you consider to pass through your?
Yeah, that's
your
right. When I normally my egg laying channel, that's right. Yeah. So a few sandwiches and a soft boiled egg. And it will be soft too. It'll be one bite.
What's Poe eating? She's eating the shell, is she?
Yep. She loves it.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's good for them coat, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. No, it's the calcium in it. And she's having a good old munch on that. Look at her getting in there. You're not actually too worried about her, Arbs?
No, it's good. As long as she doesn't bite her tongue on the knife that's sitting in there.
Yeah, she's not silly. She won't do that.
No, that's all right.
Yeah, my lunch is a giant, huge piece of rump steak, which I'm going to cook a bit later. I've just got it outside sitting on the roof of the truck, weathering, warming up to the outside temperature. I'm going to smack it on the fire very shortly with some garlic, maybe some rosemary and thyme, and some butter. And I'm going to cook that sucker up, and I'm going to have a salad out of my own vegetable garden. That's today's lunch. Arb's doing the corners, I think.
Yep.
Corners, Arb?
Yep.
I'm going to take these. Oh, I can't actually use this bloody hand. It's still not working quite right. I have to use the left hand. Poe's come down to have a look, haven't you, Poe? Lemons. These are my first ones. How does the left hand work on that? Probably secateurs would be better than a pair of scissors, although these are... There we go. Just going to lighten the load on this plant because it's hanging, and I can actually use these lemons. So I've taken all those lemons off the plant. I'm going to have one today with my dinner. I'm going to take this entire lettuce out. I have been picking bits off it, but I'm going to take the whole lot out. There it goes. Let's give it a bit of a clean on there. This is one of my favourite lettuces, these. They're really nice. Mikhail and I grew that during lockdown. It's a beauty, and it's got like two lots of colours in it. They're called Drunken Woman. If you look close, it's actually two lettuces grown together. That's why it's two different colours. It's got that one there and this one here. So it's actually two seeds together. Yum. Give this guys a good clean. Take one of these out. Come here, mate. I want to pull the whole round out, but there we go. Spring onion. Oh dear. I left the door open because it's too hot in here, and a dog has walked all over my plants. Look at that. My radishes. Oh dear. Well, oh no. Oh no, and dug out one of my plants. That was a mistake. It's Poe. She's probably looking for a rat. Oh no, there's fish down there. She's dug it out, and there goes the plant. Oh bugger. Well, I learned a hard lesson there. Won't leave that open again fully. Could have been much worse. Shouldn't sweat it too much. Could have been a lot worse. Bok choy, it's out of Jason's garden up the Mataki. You get a few leaves of that for my salad. Geez, I reckon this is a bit hot for the there's plenty of water in there, but I reckon it's a bit hot. That's why I left open the door. What's it going to be like in summertime? It's going to be a good grub. That butter is from New Zealand cattle, which are grass fed. Garlic, I think, comes from stewed Driva. I'm not sure if it's his left over or not. I had some, and I'm using some of this apple cider vinegar, which I'm going to mix with the lemon, and also some olive oil in my salad. Normally I like to use local, but couldn't get it, so got this one here. And I'm also going to cook with another olive oil. It's an older one, and I'm going to mix it up with a bit of butter. It's only a cheap one. If you mix it with butter on the hot plate, it doesn't smoke so bad or burn. Let's see how a plate is. Oh no, she's good. That's what I want to see. Just a little bit of that there. And a little bit of this here. Mixed in with it. The main star of the attraction, look at the size of the sucker. So what I've done is I've done a salt rub and also a sort of smoky steak rub. That's hot. I've got this massive big salad bowl, and basically just this. Take all those off, and I've given them a clean, just like that. And this one as well. Take the roots off, and again, and toss it a bit of a tosser. Going to be absolutely delicious. Spring onions. I don't know, something about spring onions. They're just refreshing and nice. A wee trick you can do is you can cut them short and put them in a bit of ice water with blocks of ice, and cut the ends, and it makes them curl up. It just looks fancy on the plate. When I've tried to impress someone for dinner, I've done that, but when I'm eating by myself, I don't bother with it at all. Some garlic to go on this plate here, and on that. Oh, it smells good. Garlic and butter is just a great combination, isn't it? I'm going to turn this over. And we'll let butter go into it. That's starting to smell so good. I'll put that back on top. Beautiful. I think we're going to need a little bit of this stuff, eh? Let's take one off there, or two. Probably one's probably enough. Oh, it smells so good when it's fresh like that. What I like to do is get the herbs and the butter like that. Just go across the meat. It's very rare for me to buy meat. But beef is one thing I just can't grow myself yet, because I haven't got the fences up for it. And I love beef. So all the other stuff here, except for the olive oil, is pretty much mine. Oh, and the garlic. And one day I hope to have some cattle beef here. Also the apple cider vinegar, which is something else again I could make. This stuff here, I could make that myself too, because I've got apples. I don't put a lot on, just a little bit, and what it does is it balances your pH level in your body. You can have a little bit of olive oil on this as well. It's going to make a nice dressing. I would hazard a guess this is done as much as I want it. I don't want to cook it too much more. It smells absolutely divine. I hope we can chomp into that. Oh, look at it, nice and tender. You've got blood coming out or clear? Okay, hopefully it's done medium rare. I don't know if you can see over there, Bruno's just asleep behind that stump. I'm going to zoom in for you. Having a good old siesta. Old boy's out for the count. can stay there while I start eating the steak. I'm just resting it still. I'm going to give it about 5, maybe 10 minutes to sit there, although I'm real dead keen to try a little bit of it. Might sneak a bit of this garlic. Oh, that's good. Just resting the steak, and that's what I wanted to see. Bit of blood run out with a bit of the fat and butter. You might have noticed today I didn't have any lunch with Arb. Truth is, I haven't eaten in 2 days. I've had a crook guts for nearly 3 weeks, and I put it down to emotional upset. We don't normally talk about these things, but you get to a point in your life, particularly when you hit 50, I'm 56 now, where you don't really care too much what people think. You do, but you don't absorb it and take it on. So you feel more comfortable to share things in the hope that someone else who's going through the same suffering can somehow feel they're not alone. So that's why I'm telling you this. Family problems. One of my family members got himself into a lot of trouble. And I'm not going to go into who it was and all the rest of it. But if you're a patron, you'll know what I'm talking about. But it's really been churning my stomach. It started off me eating some berries, which scoured my stomach, cleaned the sort of, out, but then I had no lining, and that's why I'm going to drink some of this before I turn to the steak. I've had some, it's all I've had the last 2 days, so it's not true. I actually have eaten. I've had some of this. I've had 2 bottles of it, so it's not, I'm not fasting. I'm lining my stomach with this. Kefir, no sugar, very good for you if you've got an upset stomach. And it puts a lining on your stomach. So I had to distance myself a bit just to make myself well, because I've got particularly a lot of young people that rely on me for weekend trips and stuff. There's no point in really upsetting myself. Anyway, I'm breaking my fast with this piece of rump steak, and the juice is just pouring out of it now. It's been sitting for about 6-7 minutes, and I'll pan around and show you this. Look. I don't know if you can see that. Yes, you can. It's just all seeping out. This is why you rest your meat a little bit. What it does, actually, I keep it in the plate because sometimes it actually reabsorbs that juice. But you can see it's a nice rare piece of steak. It's not going to be too overdone. Oh, I think it's time we dug into it. What do you guys reckon? You should smell this. It's absolutely awesome. Okay, it's not a steak knife, it's actually a chef's knife, and I shouldn't be using it on a plate, but my steak knives, well, they're all stuffed. I've got to get some more. And that's what happens when you lend stuff to people that don't know how to use stuff properly. I'm carving this now. I want to show you what this looks like. Oh my lord. Oh dear, look at that. Perfection. Absolutely perfection. I'm dribbling. And you can smell the garlic and the butter on it. This is how Clay Tall Stories broke his fast. Well, not real fast because they're drinking kefir. It's his first solids in 2 days. Let me just, this moment, smell it. I'm teasing myself. I'm holding it above there, so this saliva builds up. That helps you digest it better. Oh my god, it smells good. Share. Excuse my eating noises, sorry about that. Oh, I'm sorry I got head on that table. Not that I'm at a table, but oh. It's 10. It's an absolute 10. Bit of my salad. Oh man. That is next level steak. That was a big mouthful, I was greedy. I want to try a little bit with some garlic on it, because look at that. It's absolutely perfect. Gonna put a big clove of garlic on top. Do an experiment. Don't eat for 2 days. Cook this big rump steak. and your heightened taste is just so high up. The flavour. Where you go, Bruno? Oh, Bruno's coming over. He's got his nose and he's got stuff around. No, where you go? I make sure I keep the dogs away when I'm making a feed like this, so they understand I'm the boss. It's important. Keep order. Anyway, hey, thanks for watching the video, and really appreciate you guys joining me. And I'll see you in the next one. Good luck with your cooking, your home renovations, your life. Thanks a lot for joining me. I appreciate your time. Be good. Can't be good then. Be careful. See you later. You know what I'm going to do now, don't you? I'm going to devour that steak.